first thing I want to do is get my notes out so I don't forget anything. All the important things I need to tell you about Mavick Quarter. And first off, thanks to Kiwanis for recognizing Enid Fire Department's Firefighter of the Year. Let me tell you a little bit how it's selected. We have 3 shifts, and each shift commander I asked to give me 1 nomination per shift of an individual they think that deserves this honor. We have 9 staff members, and we nominate 1 staff member. Then there's a vote of the entire department for who's going to be the Firefighter of the Year. So the Firefighter of the Year is really voted on and selected by the peers of Mavick. Let me give you a little history on Mavick. He's been a member of the department for 24 years and 3 months. He was hired on September 6, 1994. He promoted to driver on January 1st, 1998. So he's served as a driver for 21 years come next January. Characteristics and qualities of Mavick. And these are characterizations from Mavick supervisors. Mavick, he possesses a natural ability to lead. He displays a positive and professional attitude. He's level-headed, competent, diligent, and confident. He has an easygoing personality. He's a team player. He works well with others, and those who work with him like him. He's safety conscious in performing his duties. He represents the departments in an excellent manner by his words and actions. He sets the example for new firefighters to follow, and as stated by his present supervisors and others, Mavick is the best driver on the department. He does have some unique achievements. He's had no discipline in his 24-plus years of service. He has an exceptional attendance and punctuality. He has no lates to work in 24 years.
I cannot say that.
Each year we do an annual evaluation, and you're graded on all 15 to 20 categories. You either meet standards, need improvement, or you exceed standards. And I think Mavick holds the unofficial record for the most ratings of exceeds job requirements in an annual evaluation. And I kind of look over his evaluations when he became this just to be familiar with his file. He had 9 out of like 15 categories as exceeds. And not only once, he had it twice. And it was from different supervisors. So I think it's legit. A couple of years, we're going to go 10 or 15 years back, we did 2 United Way calendars. The first one was kind of a beefcake calendar. And the second one that I was represented in, not so much. But I think one of his unique achievements, he has the best cover photo on a United Way firefighter calendar. He represented us well.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but he's still in pretty good shape and
Do you have
impressive.
a copy here with you?
I wish I
Just
had
having to bring one.
In person.
And now, he's been honored as being selected the 2018 Enid Fire Department Firefighter of the Year. It's a big honor, I think. You've got 80 firefighters down there, and your peers vote you as the best. A summary statement for Mavick is, he's the guy you'd like to be stationed with. He's fun. He does his job. He doesn't complain. But he's also the one that you'd want watching your back at the emergency scene. So in closing, again, I say thank you to the Kiwanis Club for recognizing Mavick as Firefighter of the Year. And Mavick, congratulations. Thank you, Jay.
Congratulations, Chief. You want to stand over here?
Oh, wait.
Take your time.
Where's my photographer?
There he comes.
I'm paying good money for this.
Me first.
Okay, now you.
Go. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you. I'm no public speaker, so I wrote some stuff down too, so I don't forget. This is quite an honor. I certainly don't feel I deserve this. I am grateful, and I do appreciate it. I've seen a lot of changes in the past 24 years with the fire department. I've been through 3 chiefs. If I stay another year or 2, I might get to see another. Right.
If you're lucky.
I've seen 2 brand-new substations built. The other 3 have been remodeled. In fact, the station I've been at past 15 years, Station 5, was just remodeled last month. And it looks real nice. Thank you, Joe. Seen numerous fire engines and grass rigs come and go, and they all have done pretty much the same thing. They just squirt water. Emergency calls have also changed. The majority used to be actual fire calls. Now the majority is medical calls, help lifts, and false alarms. The first run report I ever made was done with pencil and paper. Of course, now they're done on computers and iPads. Some things are even done on our cell phones. But the one thing that hasn't ever changed is the quality of good men I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. Couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys. And in closing, I just want to say thank you to the men of the Enid Fire Department and the Kiwanis for this great honor. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure Harley Long, your last recipient, answered all your questions because I watched that video.
He did answer a lot of questions.
He answered everything there is to know about the Enid Fire Department. But if you want to know something about me,
Which one is number 5?
all the way out on Garland. You know where Garland is? Okay.
That's the closest one to my house, but you're gonna have to take a dirt road to get there. Do y'all do dirt roads?
Yeah, we'll do dirt roads. Sure.
You know, like, call them.
Well, no, I've
And
always wondered.
is there bridges in between our station and,
No,
no bridges? Okay.
it's a straight out
A
Garland.
lot of times we'll take a grass rig on a medical just because there's bridges out there we can't cross with the truck.
No, we have,
Fire hydrant?
we're safe.
Train track's a problem.
Oh, yeah, they have a train trail.
Hey, you guys do the Citizen Club, or what's it called? Citizens
Academy.
Fire Academy? Derek, you did that, didn't you?
Really?
I just
I-
completed the police one. I really want to do the fire department one. Do I have to like carry a hose though? Yeah.
You climb a ladder, go into a fire, drive a truck,
Okay.
join
When is
us.
that?
Join. I really want to join.
It'll be March and April,
Okay.
coming up.
Oh,
Oh, and Mavick, tell them
Sounds
how
like
long you've been
fun.
stationed out there in Garland.
I did. It was in my, you didn't listen?
I don't listen to anything you say.
15 years.
15
out on
years.
Garland. Normally they rotate guys around, and I've been lucky enough to stay out there because I really like the station. But like I said, they just remodeled it, and it's really nice now. Anybody can stop in and look
If they bring cookies.
if you bring some sweets. Yeah.
Now, is there any difference in the type of calls you guys see out there than any other station?
and next to a retirement home, of course.
Right.
Yeah, we do get a lot of medicals. I
Yeah.
mean, more medicals. Probably than any other. Well, I don't know about any other
Did you get a
station.
cat in a
We
car
get a lot
once or
of medicals.
something?
Do what?
Like a cat in the engine. There was like a cat in the car engine. At
She
OBA.
made that call.
I did make the call. They came over. They saved the cat.
Oh yeah, I crawled under. I remember that. I crawled under. There wasn't any cat up under
Yeah, there
there.
was. I got a picture of this.
Well, it must have fell out on by the time they got to the station.
cat away.
They did get it. They did get the cat. It was really neat actually.
Oh, okay. Was this a car?
Yeah, it was a car parked at OBA, and they called the fire department.
Did that person come over to the station?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, this was another call then. She actually come to the station thinking she had a cat up in her because she heard something that we didn't find.
So, we had,
Cat was missing.
there was a fire out by us just not long ago with Brendan's house. How does that work? Because we're out in the city limits, out there by,
We're Northwood, like north of
Northwood,
Carrier
stuff that area out there.
Road.
You're
on
north
Garland.
north of Carrier?
I can tell you a little bit about our response.
I mean, as far as leaving the city limits, you guys
Did we
just
show
don't care,
up?
you just go? or-
Wasn't my house.
We're required by charter, city charter, to respond 3 miles outside the city limits. Outside that 3-mile area, which Carrier, north of Carrier, would be mutual aid. We'd have to be called by a Carrier, Kremlin Hillsdale, and we would respond with what we could. Inside the 3-mile area, outside the city limits, we'll respond just like we do in town with the same complement of engines and personnel.
So we're only 2 miles north of Carrier Road,
Oh.
which is still, I think Carrier
You
Road
by
says-
North Lake?
Huh?
By North Lake somewhere?
Northwood?
Northwood.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, we'd go to that.
okay.
Well, when you go to Carrier Road, then you go another mile or two north of Carrier Road?
And what's the city limits
I
there?
think it's Carrier Road.
Phillips?
the city limits.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Phillips is city
Excuse me.
limits.
So you're within it. We respond with a full complement of people there. Our problem there is water supply.
Yeah.
We don't have hydrants in a lot of those areas, so if the fire gets a good jump on us.
Well, there was a big one just a month ago when you guys were all there, and I was like, I wonder how that works.
You know, it hadn't been that long ago where we really had a big fire where it.
Was this a house fire or grass fire?
It was a grass fire.
Grass.
Yeah, I was out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you
Plus-
if you think you have a fire in an area like that, make the call quick, because it's a long response. It's going to take us, even from Mav's station on Garland. By the time we receive the call and process it and get out, you're probably looking at 7 or 8 minutes before we get there. And then our trouble is,
Fire real easy, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was windy that day.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but that's how the response works. Our volunteer departments, there's 12 of them around in the county, and anything outside 3 miles would be mutual aid if they need us. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the grass fires, unless it's a huge one, they won't call us. They have a pretty good, they work real well as a team. They have good response with those volunteers, and most of our grass fires we fight are within the city limits, which makes it limited because of the grasslands and the cultivation we have inside the city limits.
Did you guys respond to that big one we had? Oh, I lose track of time. It was a year or so ago when all the storm chasers and everybody were up here.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was out north, I
Right.
think, out by Kremlin.
Right.
Yeah.
We send, I mean, it's
Yeah.
mutual aid, but we're gonna go. We
Yeah.
also assist if like, I don't know, a few years back, Midwest City, Choctaw area had some big grass fires. We get a call for assistance there, we'll send a crew or two down there, out at Cleo Springs, Woodward area. They'll help us, we help them.
I have a logistical question. You said he's the best driver in the fleet. Who drove here today? You or him?
Both.
Both. I was gonna say.
I live out at Wacomas,
Okay.
so yeah, and I'm off today.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was gonna say, I didn't see you being very comfortable riding with somebody here.
I'm not comfortable riding with anybody. That's why I've been a driver for all these years. I really am. I'm not comfortable. All right.
Dane's got a question.
Oh, okay,
I
Dane.
had a question.
Yeah.
Because we got plenty of time here. Ken Helm spoke at MAPC last month about this, the carrier, this new addition they want to put in. And there's only one way that, they can only get a road in at one point. And I found it very interesting, and I know he was just there as an advisory capacity because it was outside city limits, but talk to us about that, because that was enlightening to me, that
This is the first I've heard of it. A new addition out of Carrier?
Yeah, it's up there right by Chisholm High School.
Oh.
I didn't mean carrier, I meant just, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the issue there is,
There's more than one.
in town, yeah, in town, a development like that in the city limits would require basically 2 entries or 2 ways of egress. Outside the city limits, our fire marshal or their fire department really doesn't have jurisdiction outside the city limits line. We respond 3 miles out, but we don't have jurisdiction. The state fire marshal does. So we had a new development that the proposed development only had the one access. And Ken's opinion, he follows the codes. His opinion would be, no, I wouldn't allow it without the second access. And the reason for that is pretty obvious. Being there on Carrier Road, if there was road construction, if there was any problem with making entry in there, we couldn't get to any structure fire or grass fire. And it's just an opinion he gives MAPC, but that's fire code that he's going to follow wherever he's asked to, because he knows the reasons behind it.
And I think MAPC has jurisdiction like 6 or 7 miles outside of.
Really in the county, I believe.
Yeah.
So everything goes through MAPC, but they don't all have to follow the state fire code or our city codes that we adopt.
How do they get by with, like, I know that El Paseo only has one, Cedar Ridge has one.
Well, actually, El Paseo has 2. It has a gate on the east end that we can get through.
Oh, okay.
What's the other one?
Cedar Ridge, do they have?
Cedar Ridge should have never, I mean, that was when somebody was lax on the
There was a
code.
plan for a second one and it never got put in.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember like trying to get in there to pick up a kid that was at home alone. I mean, he was old enough to be home alone, but he was like 12.
Right.
And like we couldn't get in there because it was maybe a fire, it was blocked off. So we were like, no, I'm not we're getting
No, it's a good idea. It's a great idea to have 2 ways to get to a place. So that's the
I didn't
answer.
hear everything said, but did you mention the Woodland situation? There's only one entrance here that I know of.
I'm gonna have to see you correct on that one. It was before my time, it was before Ken's. There's, go ahead.
How do you like all the road construction?
Well, we find a way to get around it, but it's like anybody else. After a while, it gets a little bit old and troublesome.
Do you guys have to plan for that when Cleveland gets shut down? Do you put a plan in place to where you have ways to go?
We get the notifications that the public does, plus some in more advance, so we know that those things are going to happen on the date. So, like Mavick being a driver and his lieutenant out there at Station 5, they're aware of that situation. And they run enough that if they made a mistake, they'd run into it and they wouldn't do it again. You see what I'm saying? They're busy enough that they're familiar with all the areas.
And
Willow.
on fire calls, 3 engines are going anyway. So somebody's gonna get there,
Yeah.
decent time.
Be nice when it's all done, though, won't
It
it?
would be, yeah.
Are you guys just avoiding the Van Buren overpass completely at this point?
No,
Or do you use it?
I still take it.
Really?
Well, did you have to go there when the truck tried to drive off?
We made the call.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear it right, that Oklahoma City firemen are trying to get others to sign up, learn the, get the training and everything? And do we have enough here, or are they one?
I always encourage people to get training or get prior education before applying anywhere, but it helps. It helps in the hiring process.
Seems like they're wanting more.
We don't have much problem filling our positions. We have usually a turnout initial application of, lately 75 to 100 individuals fill out an application, and then we, through an agility test and a written test, we'll get it down to where we have roughly 20 on a list waiting to be hired. A list is good for 2 years, and after 2 years we retest. But I think we've hired 4, I believe, off our present list, and we still have, I believe, 13 left. That's pretty. It's a process that's not easy to get through. We have all the initial, the written, and the agility test. We have background checks. We have polygraphs. We have a medical physical we have to go through for the pension system.
So like you're saying, Jill, do you have to be able to run a mile and so on? What's the
Mile and a half in 13 minutes, I believe, is what it is.
You sure?
I've done it
Here,
before.
go do that.
Chief,
In gear or no gear?
out of curiosity, what's the
No.
number one weed out for you to pack?
In the application process?
Process.
Well, this polygraph thing's interesting. You don't have to be innocent as snow, but you need to be honest about what you passed about. And if there's a question about your credibility or your answers on a polygraph and you fail, you will probably not be considered as an applicant. That's the biggest.
What's the age cutoff?
Oh, I gotta do the math. 22 years on the, help me, man, it used to be 45. Is it 43 now or 47? They changed our,
I think it was 43.
it is 43.
Yeah. I
It's
missed
43 because they changed our pension requirement. It used to be 20 years your pension was worth half pay, but a couple of years ago we made a change in the pension where you have to work 22 years. And you have to retire at 65, so that puts you at 43 would be the maximum age you could be hired.
What kind of medical training do you guys have as first responders if you show up first on the scene?
Oh, a few years back, we made it a requirement that in your probationary period, you would become an EMT. You don't have to be one to get hired, but we're going to give you the training, and if you so happen, which happens occasionally, we'll hire somebody that just cannot achieve certification, well, you'll be terminated due to the lack of it. We still have some that on the department. Mav happens to be one that requirement wasn't there. There's probably, I think there's only 4 or 5 on the department that aren't EMTs at this time. That's what we do. It's good training. I'd be honest though, Mav probably knows as much after 24 years riding a truck as most, and does the same thing as our
We
EMTs.
have
But
continuing educating classes, so, I mean, we're in the same classes with the EMTs. Just never got the certification.
we have one paramedic that used to work for Life that came to work for us. He has a little bit different protocols, but because he is a paramedic.
What's the difference in an EMT and a paramedic?
Training, additional training for the paramedic, also the skill levels they can perform at. He can administer more drugs than we can, the different types of drugs. I took over, Matt. Go ahead.
Nope. I think you did wonderful.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Again, thanks.